Marijuana can now be grown legally in 2 US states. Colorado and Washington have become the first states to approve its recreational use. Supporters believe the law will weaken gangs in neighbouring Mexico, from where Lucia Newman reports.
Although cannabis originally came from Asia, its most common name, marijuana, comes from Mexico. It means intoxicating plant. So intoxicating and popular that it accounts for at least 1/3 of Mexico's illegal drug trade. A highly lucrative contraband that helps feed this country's violent drug cartels. But now the U.S. states of Colorado and Washington have voted to legalize the recreational use of marijuana, potentially dealing a more powerful blow to the cartels than any army, without even firing a shot.
They're not running.
By making it possible to legally produce cheaper and higher quality marijuana at home, the law is expected to cut the cartel's profits by $1.4 billion in the state of Washington alone.
Este es el inicio de un cambio probablemente generacional.
This is the start of a generational change, which will take at least 10 to 15 years to implement, if it can be proven that regulating the sale of marijuana helps weaken organized crime and reduce violence.
A study by the Mexican Institute for Competitiveness, which put out the report, calls it a, quote, structural blow to drug trafficking in Mexico. And in this country, which has seen more than 60,000 people killed in the drug war over the last 6 years, it's a measure that's being welcomed by many ordinary citizens.
In
the long term, it will reduce the level of violence here because it will force drug traffickers to change and become legal. The best example is what happened when they ended prohibition of alcohol in the United States.
That doesn't take into account cocaine, heroin, and other hard drugs. Nevertheless, those who argue that it's time to rethink the strategy for combating the illegal narcotics trade believe the legalization of marijuana in these 2 American states is a significant first step towards dealing a death blow to Mexico's deadly drug cartels.
We are happy here in Colorado. We've taken a step forward for common sense drug policy. We're going to send a message around the world that marijuana prohibition has failed and it's time for a new direction. It means I'm going to smoke a lot of weed tonight! Woo! Move beyond prohibition. 80 years ago, we repealed alcohol prohibition in this state. We did it prior to the federal government. And we're doing the same thing when it comes to marijuana. We are a step ahead, and we will continue to lead the way.